Cardano holders, welcome back. Let's get into kind of the follow-up as we recently talked about Charles Hoskinson being present in the functions that were going on and taking place. A lot of conferences in Toronto, Canada this past week. We had the consensus as well as the futurist, and Charles was speaking at both of them and in attendance. Okay, but we're going to take a little bit of what he said. We're going to kind of tie it into what I've been saying. And we're going to get into the Charles Hoskinson prediction and timeline for Cardano and the next crypto bull run that we have been alluding to. All right. And a lot of you guys may think that, hey, we had the bull run hasn't started. There's a lot of varying viewpoints, but we're going to touch upon a lot of what's going on right now in the market. So let's get down into it. For those of you that are new to the channel, we have been talking about Cardano back in the trenches. I mean, I'm talking when we were in the side of the road, the ditches, and trading below 25 cents each and every single day. We have been supporting Cardano. It's one of my largest holdings, and I want to share with you guys my thoughts on a daily basis, and that's why I love talking ADA. For those of you that are new, make sure you all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and join us. Also, I do want to tell you guys and encourage you, if you're not already doing so, make sure you guys all give me a follow on X. You can see my page right here on your screen. This is where you'll find the Crypto Mark at TCryptoMark if you do want to follow me here on this platform. Okay. And also, I did just post a nice little video cutout of what Charles was saying recently about the midnight kind of airdrop that will be taking place. All right, so let's get into the big news. This is kind of the timeline that Charles does give us. We will take a real brief look as we kind of follow along at the Cardano chart, because there are some things that I do want to point out from that chart that we're looking at today. Just briefly, as we'll look at the overall market, you can see kind of we turn to green bubbles. All right, that's always a beautiful sight to see. Did start off the day a little bit into the red, but since then, guys, we have rebounded nicely, and Cardano looking at a price tag up 1% on the day. So that's one that we're not going to balk at. 76 cents and counting, almost 77 cents on the chart. But let's get into the conversation that we came here to have. And obviously, guys, do remember this is not financial advice. Please be sure to do your own due diligence and all of your own homework, research, all that good stuff. I'll never tell you to buy or sell a crypto. However, if you are looking to buy crypto, make sure you check out BTCC. This is my trusted exchange. Links are down below if you want to start trading on this platform. A lot of people have made the switch, and you can find a lot of great tools here, information, as well as spot and leverage trading available to most clients geographically. Make sure it's right for you and where you're located, and check out all that BTCC has to offer. There are some promotional sign-up bonuses as well as volume competitions they do on the leverage side. So especially if you are a leverage trader, check out BTCC, links down below. Okay, but back into it. This is what we came here to talk about. The price prediction and timeline for Cardano as we look at the crypto bull run oncoming. Okay, very bullish on the Cardano ecosystem is Charles Hoskinson, and I don't blame him, right? Not only is he the founder, but he's also kind of the main, I guess you would say, the figurehead, as a very outspoken figurehead, I should say, within the entire crypto space, not just for ADA. But we want to talk about kind of what he says, because there are some highlights that we're going to get into. Expecting the industry to go through some heartburn for 2 to 3 months before rebounding. The on-chain data showing that whales are buying Cardano ahead of the dusk and midnight airdrops. Okay, so that's some big news. But we have been moving sideways, okay? And I am going to get into kind of what we're talking about more so as we look at the chart here on BTCC. I'm going to go full screen for this one, so you will lose my face, but we will talk about what's going on right now, okay? Because as we're looking at the chart right now, and you can see some of the things that I did have pointed out, you can see right now that blue line is the $1 threshold, the very big psychological kind of area that we do have some concern with, and we do have all eyes on, I should say, as we look at ADA right now on the day. But let's get into this conversation here, because as the bull run has stalled, this is something where there are a lot of concerns on whether ADA has more upside, okay? And we're going to go into the quicker time frames. That way you guys can see in real time what's exactly going down. But we have kind of kicked it up a notch, okay? And this has been dating back to where we see this level right here. Okay, now this was back on April 8th. That's when that first initial green candle kind of catapulted Cardano into that next leg up. But we have since sold off a little bit. We did have 3 little nice pumps there. You can see that collectively as you want to look at the screen. You can see that right here. And I will kind of illustrate that for you guys. You can see it right here on the 8th. And then once again here, and then the third one, leading us up to where we're at right here, right now, where if we do kind of follow this continuous historical pattern, the next one would obviously take place. And from there, guys, I think that would get us close to 90 cents for ADA. It's not a price prediction. It's just kind of me using some logic and some of my analysis and giving you guys my viewpoint on that one, okay? But at the consensus event, that's the take-home message, okay? Talking about when Cardano will resume the bull run. This is where we look into the quote that he was actually quoted by saying, the overall state of affairs is bullish. It's just that we are not where we need to be yet. Okay, talking about there will be 2 to 3 months of heartburn from macro issues like tariffs. Okay, and that's a very interesting analogy comparing what we're seeing going on the charts as heartburn. Me personally, guys, I think that we are through the gist of it. I think that what we've seen and the recent kind of conversations with Saudi Arabia and Donald Trump, I think has kind of kick-started that bullish discussion. Okay, but we're going to take it back over to the context that we're looking at, because there is something I want to show you full screen. This is where we look into the price prediction as it correlates to the summer months, when the entire crypto industry does look to stall. Historically, June, July, August, and September are the worst months for crypto and Bitcoin. And this is something where we look into the Q4 and Q1 being kind of historically the best months that we do expect to see some activity in our direction. Okay, but what I want to share with you guys as well, and we are going to get out of this to look at coin market cap, and you can kind of see altcoin season is sitting at 20, or the index sitting at 27, but the big one here is the fear and greed index relative to what we're seeing in the market. If we couple this with some of the Bitcoin dominance, and you see that if you correlate this to what individual cryptos are doing, correlate this with altcoin season being on the brink of actually taking place, I think we can make a pretty fair estimate that we will see kind of altcoins having their day. And a lot of people do kind of agree with me, thinking that Bitcoin may be exhausted a little bit. And if that does happen, I think not just Cardano, but a lot of other top alts, I could single out a few, but more so this is just going to be ADA-centric. They will see a very substantial kind of rise here in the next coming month or so, if we do see some Bitcoin exhaustion and we fall from that dominance. And that's kind of where it leads me to talking about this even more, okay? Because if we do have an altcoin season, right? If that bull run does kick off with Cardano and other alts doing well, we do shift. You see what Ethereum's doing on that side of the coin, and you can pretty much connect the dots that looks like it's right around the corner. However, the only difference is historically when we talk about altcoin seasons, we talk about bull runs, and Bitcoin has been doing well, and they've been going on their tangent, right? A lot of cryptos do follow that, but also when altcoin season does start, Bitcoin usually falters a little bit. But historically, we've never, this has always kind of coincided with like 12 to 16 months after halving. But historically, we've never had what we have going on right now in the United States government and worldwide, as we have this arms race to who can basically dominate crypto from a global perspective, okay? And I think that's the one thing throwing off a lot of time frames and patterns is this is unprecedented. Okay, this is unprecedented territory, and that's kind of the big take-home message from that piece, okay? But getting back into it, you can see kind of here, if we look at the monthlies dating back to 2013, right? You can see kind of for Bitcoin seasonally, these are the months that we have kind of faltered in. And you look in that June, July, August, that's kind of where we've seen a lot of red numbers being posted, coinciding to kind of off years. You see that more consistently throughout the year, not just in the summer months, but that's kind of what we're faced up against. So if you do want to follow these charts, you can find this pretty readily anywhere that you want to search on the internet. Okay, but there are some other things that we have to talk about, okay? Midnight, that is something where we talked about the airdrop. If you do want to see kind of what my post is on X, make sure you check that out and you can hear what Charles said himself. But the use case for Midnight that we want to talk about specifically is the integration with Bitcoin that allow holders to generate an annual yield in a safe environment. That is like super bullish. Just even if you have no idea what Cardano does, you've never bought it before in your life, it's something that does is kind of open your eyes and say, wow, I got to look into this one, because you don't quite frankly hear this with other cryptos in the market. Okay, talking about how the tokens will be airdropped to millions of users across 8 blockchains, all right, including ADAs. And from there, guys, that's kind of why we're looking into the whale data right now from Sentiment. As you can see, there's a lot of whales accumulating this crypto. This is where we've seen whale accounts between 10 million and 100 million coins have boosted their holdings from 12.93 billion up from 11.97 billion back in January. You can see that rise. You can see why the whales are scooping up Cardano. And I think right now, as you look at the individual risk category for ADA, right, you want to buy when blood's in the streets. Traditionally, when it's a very fearful market, that's kind of when people are selling out of crypto. And unfortunately, the institutions and the whales alike, that's when they kind of flex their capital and they really take advantage of some low price points. Okay, they play the long game. They're in, they're out, and they're up. And it seemingly looks like retail, on the other hand, if we're going to keep going down this road where Cardano is not the flashy car on the lot, it's not the sexy new toy that everybody wants, that's where we're going to get left behind in the dust. Because if Cardano has an altcoin season and it pumps, watch out. And I think that retail will be late to the party. And that's kind of why I hold Cardano. All right. I don't swing trade it. I don't trade it off volatility. I don't use the macro headlines to kind of gain a 10% day and risk losing up on the upside. That's just not how I do it personally. Okay. But a lot of technical analysis behind Cardano showing a lot of, viewpoints that are aligned with how Hoskinson is bullish on this crypto. And I think that historically, if we want to talk about that $1 to $1.20 Cardano, I think that we are just a stepping stone away from this rebound. And that's kind of how I feel about it. So resuming the next bull run, that is going to be the big storyline in days and weeks to come. If you think the heartburn lasts for a couple months and you align yourself with Hoskinson, well, that's a whole nother story. But I do think that if altcoin season does kick off, it's not going to be that far away if we maintain these fear levels that indicate that the dominance for Bitcoin is faltering and that alts may be having their day once again. Okay, and I think that's exemplified not just with Cardano, but also Ethereum doing exceedingly well right now on the price charts. So that's kind of what we have to look forward to. All right, so stay tuned for more updates. As always, guys, I appreciate you following along. We do talk Cardano each and every single day. If you haven't done so already, make sure you all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and join us. Be sure to check out my page on X as well if you haven't done so already. And always links are down below if you want to start trading on BTCC. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll see you all tomorrow in the next video. Cheers.